Hi, everyone. It's Tonia with Tea with Tonia today, and I am here with my soul sister, great friend, who is a creative genius, Melissa DeTroy. And I am so happy to have her here to share her story today. Just to give a little of background of the Tea with Tonia, I am fortunate in my life that I attract and meet the most amazing people along the way in my journey. And it just felt like I just wanted to share those stories because I know at times when you are trying to live in the joy of things or living your dreams, it could get a little difficult. And it seems like the world doesn't really always share the positive stories of people doing it. So I wanted to do my little part and share the extraordinary people in ordinary life that exist. And I have one of them with me today, whom is Melissa. Yeah, and I met her, oh my God, Mill, what was it, like 6 years ago?
Oh, it seems like maybe even longer.
I know.
A long
Yeah.
time.
We did a self-development program and we did not want to say we didn't click. We just didn't connect in the beginning of it. It was like the last weekend of it.
Yeah.
Her and I just opened up, shared some stuff, and then like, that's it. It's been that way ever since. So.
Yeah, it's been such a great journey through those 6 years too.
Yep, and thank God to have you. So it is important to have, and that's why I call her my soul sister, because it is.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
It's a treasure to have people along the way who could just celebrate the wins and also be there to wipe the tears along the way, which you certainly have. So just share with everyone who you are, what you do, where you are in the world right now, and just share yourself.
Yeah, so hi. Hello, everybody. Hi out there. I'm Melissa. I am an artist primarily, and over the years I have gotten into holistic health and healing, amongst other things that artists sometimes do to kind of make it all work. I'm currently living in Portland, Oregon. I've been here for about 2 years, and my main intention of coming out here was actually just to pursue art and music. I do music too. So I went to art school a long time ago, studied illustration, and then later in life ended up studying nutrition, holistic health, moved to New York to do that, and that became my main career. So, yeah.
And I know, because I've been to that house, the stuff that is behind her is also her art. That's magnificent, right? Those are the pieces.
My little the creation station.
Yeah. Oh, creation station. Now that's a word right there. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are pieces behind. And then another thing that I just want people to know, and what I feel is like so important for people to know, is the journey, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's always about, or I feel like a focus could always be on the success part and not talking only about like the journey along the way. So I would love for you to share, like, what was the struggle or the pain point that you had to overcome in your journey in order for you to be the artist and in your creative station along the way?
Yeah, such a great question. Ooh, it's fully loaded. I would say that the main thing would have to have been, so moving to New York, the main reason for that was I was sick in my early 20s. It's kind of an unexpected, wild experience and pretty fatal. And through that healing process, I studied a whole lot on nutrition and then decided to go to New York to go to school for that with my mom, which was great. Mm-hmm. And that just became my passion. And prior to that, I was living in Martha's Vineyard, pursuing my art straight out of college, which was great. I was illustrating for a newspaper. I was doing signs for restaurants, all kinds of cool stuff. And then, my life took a switch in the path. And it was needed. It was also a great path. Mm-hmm. And going to school was really awesome. And then that just got me into that whole career for a while. So I guess sort of a struggle, but also a sweet thing about it. And I got to serve a lot of people and work with thousands of clients. So that was a really great blessing. But deep down inside, there was the artist that was put on the back burner for a long time. And I think a lot of that was just out of fear for my health. I was scared. I was scared to get sick again. I was scared to have something random pop up, or, you know, like you just take a lot of things for granted and you don't know when things can occur.
Yes.
So I was living in fear a lot, although that was just such an awesome experience. Met so many great people. And so, yeah, there was just that part of me that was a little bit like suppressed. And I did work for somebody at an art studio in Manhattan, which was awesome, but it was never my own art. So eventually, 9 years later, like after grinding it out, which I think is also something that can be a struggle for an artist if you're not really able to fully be an artist for whatever reason. You have to kind of grind a bit and take this job and that job. So I was totally doing that, but got to a point where I was like, okay, I need to find that person again. I need to get there. You know, that's my happy place. And I took a year to travel through Central America with that desire to just like, what would it look like if I just woke up and was an artist, and did that in a place where a lot of artists are.
Yeah. Know? Speak a little bit more about that, because honestly, your journey on your travel that you did was actually pretty remarkable. Something I always look up with you in doing, that you just literally stopped and you're like, I'm just gonna, it was a big leap for you. I know that was like a turning point. So if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about that, it's just remarkable.
Yeah, which you were a part of a little bit.
Awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I just got to that point where it was like, okay, I had such a strong pull to like backpack and like live off the grid and have no plan. You know, it was just, everything was so structured and masculine and boxed, and like, you know, and New York was great for that teaching, right? I needed that. But yeah, so leaping into Central America was one of the best things I've ever done. It was the best time of my life. It was not pretty, all of it, but the first part of it was me learning how to live off the grid. So permaculture, like every little piece of waste, you have to figure out how to, like, what to do with it, which is very humbling, very cool, very hard. So that was the first part of it. And I did end up getting a little sick there, and that was scary. So here we are, right? Like, I had dengue fever, and I was like, oh shit, we're sick again. Something totally different, but it definitely sparked up a lot of fear again.
Yeah, that fear that you had about getting sick, just like,
right?
It's like, hi, found you in Central America. Like, I got you.
Right. It's just like, shit, give me a break. Yeah, my mom was freaking out and was just like, you got to come home. And I'm just like, nope, this needs to happen. This is for me. So I persevered. Yeah. I got on a bus. There was a 30-hour bus to get out of that area where it was more of an issue. Went to Guatemala, which I heard was like more highland and less risk. And I just went there to heal and to rest and to learn Spanish. And as soon as I got there, I was like, whoa, this place is magical. Yeah. Amazing. Volcanoes and like lush flowers and the food, the people, the artisans there. It's just everything about it was just like saying to my heart as an artist. So I was like, yep, I'm going to stay here. And the plan for me was to like travel through Central America, make my way down to Argentina. And I was like, no, this is it. So I stayed in that place for about a year, and I basically woke up every day in this beautiful environment, did writing and did a lot of like my own self-care, and painted and was drawing people in the streets and taking a lot of pictures and just being in the presence of the culture and these artisans who've been that way for, you know, centuries and centuries and centuries. So yeah, I got to do that every day.
Yeah, Guatemala was And that's where I met her along in the journey. The other part, I was like, this is too much for me. I don't know if I can handle all that. But when she settled in, I remember going to Guatemala to meet her, and it was exactly what she called it, magic. The place itself was just, it had everything that you could perhaps like desire. Nature in its abundance and beauty. It sparked, God, so much goodness, like the colors of the flowers and just the food, everything was just magical there. I'm just like, wow, Mills, like this is really cool that you just like randomly stumbled upon it, and it was just beautiful. So it's cool to see how when you have no plan, sometimes you could end up exactly, well, usually you end up exactly where you didn't know you wanted to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And persevering through that, like you mentioned, that struggle, like just kind of like what's on the other side of that mountain, that hill, you know, where you're just like, oh my God, like the conditions are terrible. I don't want to do this, you know, and then you get to the summit and you look out.
Yeah,
you know.
I love it. So now what has you in Portland now? Because I like your story too with it. Yes. It's like part 2 of the journey, of the artisan journey.
It is. So that place never left my heart. So when I came back to New York, I was like, this is not quite it. I love New York in so many ways. But part of going to Portland was kind of like, you know, accessing that place again and living in more of like a lush, beautiful environment, which Antigua was totally different here. Yeah. But just slower pace and all those good things that I knew nourished me and I needed to thrive. So, yeah.
That's like, I think it's cool because I hear you just saying like, it's like finding your formula to be the artist. It's like you went to Guatemala and you realized it was it, back to New York, saw what didn't work, and then kind of just found the middle ground to kind of have you be able to be in your path of being your artist. Because like that's what the thing that makes your heart just absolutely sing, and you're incredible at it.
No, thank you.
And then even if you want, so all right, another thing I like to ask and just find out more is like, what is something that brings you absolute joy, or things that bring, because right, it's one thing, but what brings you joy in your life?
So many things.
Share.
So definitely my art, you know, kind of getting into that zone and getting like lost in it for hours, and you're like, where am I? Who am I? It doesn't matter, you know? So it's like this little magical time capsule. That for sure. And music. I love to sing. I love to play ukulele and just also play and sing with other people. That really makes my heart sing. And to gather like the people that I love and to like all be together. I think it comes from being in like a very large family, but getting everyone together to share a meal is one of my, just really, I love that.
How many are you guys? Share that one.
6 of us. Yeah. Big old family. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So just, you know, like people I love, community, you know, like you and other friends, and like we haven't seen each other for a while, just getting together and just like, what are you up to? And just sharing and connection.
Yeah, it's like that breaking bread. And you cook amazingly as well. So it's like all around Renaissance women. Yes, well, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Cooking
your cooking is amazing. It's like you're creative in your cooking as well. Like it's like you're an artist in like all areas of your life. Like creativity just like oozes out of you.
Yeah, I feel lucky. It's just, it's a beautiful thing to be able to like express that, you know, from your hands and your heart. It's been great. I also like to travel, obviously. So that's in there too. But.
That's what I love hearing, because it's just like, I feel like joy is the thing that makes the journey bearable, or it's, you know, I kind of felt like along the way, even in what it is that I want to do, it was always about the destination. And then the destination is about 5 minutes. Like once you get there, that's it. Right. But then the journey could take years, months. I mean, depending on what it is. And it's like the little celebrations along the way of the joy of little things that it makes it all kind of come together. So I'm just like an advocate for joy and just finding that in the little random things of like everyday life.
Yeah, 'cause
Just
we often like don't like stop to like totally appreciate that too. There's so many things, you know.
yeah. And
Doesn't
then
have to be the big things.
no, and now one of the drawings that you have behind you, is that one that you did on your coffee paper or no?
Yeah, so that's one of my coffee stain drawings and one of the bigger ones, the only big one that I've done. And that is from a really beautiful plant here in Portland.
Can you just, because I love how you in your art also bring in the elements. It's like you bring in all the senses. So the paper with the coffee, which brings in the food and the plants. So just
Okay.
can you talk about how you, when you start a process, like all the different things that you bring in?
Yeah, how I got into the process, or how I do the process.
How you do the process, how you got into it? Because I feel like you do with your art, you started to pull in all the different things that you actually enjoy and love.
Yeah, totally. So this kind of like birthed out of the desire to break free of, so I'm like a pretty realist illustrator, and that's kind of what they encouraged me to do in art school because it's more of a strength, and I just got bored of it. I'm like, this is really sterile, and it's like, cool, I can really draw this piece of glass very well, like, you know, what's next? And I wanted to kind of like create a little chaos in it or like change it up. So I got really into just creating different background textures and colors for a while, combined with some realism. And then years ago, I just stumbled upon like tea dyeing and like coffee staining. And I just gave it a shot. I was like, let's see how this will work. Like just to stay in the paper, just to like see what would happen. I didn't plan to draw something on top of that. I didn't know what I would do. But that design within itself was so beautiful and remarkable and like uncontrolled. And that's what I liked about it, because I was so controlled, you know, like we're going to get everything right. So I liked that part of it. I had no idea how it was going to turn out. And then I sat with it for a while and like kind of let it speak to me, like what colors to use and what material. And it just ended up being this whole series of botanical, like plant life with it for whatever reason. And my first one, like 8 years ago, was a drawing of chestnuts. And so, yeah, it's spawned ever since then. So mostly plant life, but I did get into some pencil portrait work too. So
Yeah, it's cool. When I come and visit, I'll see like a tray on the floor and just like, oh, that's where I do my coffee cleaning. And just like it's, I think what you said that I love the most is uncontrolled. And it's just like allowing it to do its thing. And you said it, like allow it to come to you, and then you just kind of enhance the beauty that's like already there within it and from your environment. Portland is just, well, in spring is just the flowers and everything around there too. Yeah. Just out of control, gorgeous. So.
Yeah, totally is. Yeah.
Love hearing that. Love all of that. And now the other thing is, what would you like to share with people? I don't want to say like a tool, but something imparting wisdom, or it's just like a message you would like to share with people, or something you would just like to say?
That's such a good question. I would say that you should never, or don't ever like let that inner voice go. You know, whatever your heart desires to do, like whatever you, as they say, like loved as a kid to do, those things that just like, you know, brought you a lot of joy and passion. We get really lost in the moment. And for some people it's things that you've forgotten about, but just to keep on accessing that and making that and you a priority. So even though you gotta pay your bills, you know, you gotta work, you gotta grind it. You gotta grind it out sometimes. And there's some some benefits and things you learn in life through that too, you know? It's not just all go for the good. I just think it all works itself out. But yeah, it's not letting that get quiet, because that's what that yearning is what you go to bed with and what you wake up with. It doesn't go away.
It's like, I want to put a heart around you. I wish I had one of those pens. Just like, yes to that. That was so well. It's the essence of life. It's like, you know, and you got to pay your bills. There is the reality of life. You can't avoid the money thing, but no one says that you can't do it while still being a kid and bringing back those little things that brought you joy. So that's so well shared.
Yeah, it's so important, especially like, you know, if you raise a family, like, you know, just the things pile on, you know, and there's moments that you can add into your day to really make it happen, you know.
Leave it that. Add joy into your life all the time. That's why even these little things.
All the time.
That's why even this silly little mug, it's Wonder Woman.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, some mornings got to wake up and just got to know who's there. There's these little things that bring it all together. So, Melissa, thank you so much for
thank you
sharing your story today and your light, and you're just magnificent. And I'm going to share your link of where people could go on to get to know more about you, see your art, and just really get to understand the depths of your magnificence and the beauty that you put out in the world. So
thank you. Right back at you. Thank you for having me and kind of like bringing all this to light through your light. You are amazing. And I love you so much.
That's what we do. We too, lady. We bring the light and shine it so that everyone rises together. So that's the goal.
That's it.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining. Melissa, thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too.